RJ Kielty, plumbing, heating, cooling, celebrating 50 years of bringing comfort to you. Feeling realty, call RJ Kielty, they'll get your system working to cool you down. And if fixing a leak is what you seek, RJ Kielty service is the best around. RJ Kielty, plumbing, heating, cooling, over 50 years of bringing comfort to you.
Welcome to episode 11, Kielty's Corner. I'm here with one of my favorite ladies, Debbie, with Marjorie's Hope.
Thank you.
Yep. And she has just done absolutely amazing things for the community. There's a reason that we've partnered with her for, I don't know, over 10 years, I feel like. Probably, right?
Pretty close to it,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah. Pretty close to 10 years. So, anyways, she just does so much different things for the community. I'm actually in a celebrity waiter here the next month, again, raising money for the community. She just does amazing things. So I'm going to give it up to Debbie here. And Debbie, tell me a little bit about yourself first. Before we get to Marjorie's Hope, just tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay. So, married, grandmother to 6, mother to 2, and retired nurse, and always love giving back to my community. I grew up Horses for Handicap with my mom and dad with Kiwanis on Saturdays, so we weren't on a softball field, and we were at the stables, helping out. It was just expected type deal. And
I
so
learn something new every time I talk to you,
yeah.
Debbie.
So it's just like, so that's why I feel like our motto is like, when you give back early in life, it can be lifelong giving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so myself as an example, so I'm 65 years old and I'm still giving back as a result of my earlier roots from my parents. So my grandfather was a big donor years ago, and then my mom and dad, and now myself and my kids grew up in playpens while we were volunteering, and now my grandkids volunteer. So it's always giving back to the community.
Yeah, I feel like teaching a child that early on, and I feel like we're getting less and less of that, but like giving back to the community can just teach them so many different values. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
Well, because they can see it, actions speak louder than words. They're a cliche, but, when they see it happening, and, like I said, I mean, we fill backpacks, and my great niece, who is Marjorie's granddaughter, okay, and we have photographs of her. It was as early as four. I mean, she's like,
awesome.
Can she hold that backpack? I don't know. Somebody catch her from behind, but it's like, it's like, don't let her work more than 2 hours. There's child labor laws, I'm sure, at 4, even if you volunteer. But that's okay. We still work them, but and she loves it. She loves it. So no, 100%. When children can accompany their parents and see it and work beside them, I said, I hope, even if it's just one, that becomes lifelong giving. It's just it can be amazing.
Yeah. Especially like you talked about the backpack stuff and stuff like that. I've talked to numerous people and a bunch of our employees and stuff like that. It's literally just life changing because you have purpose at that point. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't have purpose in life, and that gives you a purpose. Like, hey, I am doing something. I'm helping humanity. I'm helping my fellow community, my peers.
Yeah,
we're doing something good.
You do not only doing something good, but you're having fun.
Yep.
And it's social, it's bonding, and like I said, and it's memory makers. So it's like there's so much more than just the action.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So So anyway, so that's kind of like a little bit about me. I shoot from the hip.
Yep.
I think I'm low maintenance. My husband will tell you different. So but it's all good. I have a large, loving family, all here in town, and great supports. So I'm just blessed to be surrounded by you know, just a great family.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a really cool story. And then we'll talk a little bit more about Marjorie's Hope. But it was over 10 years ago. Over 10 years ago. So.
I know where you're going with
This is an amazing story. I love it. So over 10 years ago, we're at the Pasco Economic Development Council Industry of the Year Awards.
Mm-hmm.
And you were up for Nonprofit of the Year.
Correct.
And I believe we were up for either that was the year that we won industry of the service industry of the year award for a large business. So yeah, I believe that was the one you won. So anyways, we're sitting down, we ate dinner, and the award ceremony starts, and all of a sudden they say, you know, nonprofit. And we had talked before, they have like a little vendor trade show and stuff like that. So we had talked a little bit before. So next thing I know, Debbie wins. Well deserved. So tell them what you kind of said up there.
Well, I think so. We were trying to connect a lot before that, and we kept missing each other. Mm-hmm. You're busy, I'm busy, whatever. So we never had like a full matchup. And so then, yes, they announced that we had won as well. And they had already announced, I think, that you had won.
Yep.
And so, hence I knew you were in the audience. And so I'm like, my thank you speech. And at the very end, I'm like, and Tanner Kielty, I know you're somewhere in the building. I'm going to come
I'm coming for you.
I'm going to hunt you down.
I love that because a lot of times in nonprofits, they're missing somebody like that. You know, somebody's not afraid to make, and you're not doing it for selfish reasons. You're doing it because you know you could help the community more by connecting with people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True.
So, and ever since that, I'm like, oh, I love this lady.
I did.
She's not afraid. You hunted me down. Yep.
I think I said that. Hey, I'm still following through on what I said.
You should have probably seen the look on my face with that. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it was a fun time. But like I said earlier, those that know me well. I shoot from the hip. I follow through, and not afraid to ask for what I want. And so all of the above.
It was destiny.
Yeah, it truly was. It's been a fun ride. Yeah,
oh, it really has. And,
yeah.
And let's talk about Marjorie's Hope a little bit. So, why did you start Marjorie's Hope?
So I started Marjorie's Hope in memory of my sister, who was killed by a drunk driver. 17 years old on a Monday afternoon, 10 minutes to 2 and a half a mile from home.
Wow.
So crazy. Who knew that our tagline so many years ago would end up becoming, so apparent with every day's a gift. You're here today, but you could be gone tomorrow. And how well my family knows that with the losses that we've suffered. But nonetheless, we wanted to give back. It was important for me to keep her torch lit, not only for her children who were 11 and 12 when she passed, but then, I wasn't even thinking of her future generation of her grandchildren. So, but the sadness in my heart was they were 11 and 12, her children. I mean,
I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, it's just, and they lost their mother, and she was a week after her 33rd birthday. I had 33 years with her. I remember them. But when you think about, the first, 3 years, maybe you don't remember. So it dwindled and diminished how many years they actually had with their mother. So it was important for me to keep the torch lit and let's, celebrate her life that she loved to live rather than memorialize her. And so what better way to do it is just continued the work that she loved to do. She was, again, because she was raised like I was, and she didn't have a whole bunch in life, but what she had, she gave. So she was always at school, Friday giving out popcorn, selling popcorn to the kids. I think she got fired, though, because she was short on her petty cash because of the kids wanted popcorn and they couldn't afford the quarter. She gave it anyway. Oh, well. Yeah, oh, well. So, but she was always on the back of a bus, with the kids as far as field trips and field days and that. And she was always in the trailer park, so helping or reaching out to kids that most people wouldn't even give a second look at. She had an uncanny ability to draw teens to Christ.
Mm-hmm.
She always
Good.
had back then a pickup truck, back when we used to ride in pickup trucks.
Mm-hmm.
And so the preacher said at the eulogy, told us this great story. It didn't surprise us at all. And said, when my sister came into church on Sunday, she had a whole truckload of kids. When she picked a pew, everybody just kind of slid down that pew and let them have whatever they wanted. He said, because now you're talking like 25 years ago, where kids were tattooed in places preacher said didn't know that you could be tattooed.
Yep.
Okay. Like, woo, okay. But they were scary. They had chains hanging from their belt loops and that. They made noise and they were rough looking. But yet every weekend, every Sunday, she had a new bunch of kids. And
They just didn't have direction.
Huh?
They just didn't have direction.
Yeah, and she didn't care what they looked like.
Yeah.
She didn't care if
Shouldn't.
you had a rap sheet or you were a juvenile delinquent, okay? It's what's in your heart,
Mm-hmm.
okay? So anyway, because we all make bad decisions. And so nonetheless, she always came into church like that. So somebody said, rather than talk about this woman at fellowship, maybe we should start embracing her because she's doing what we have tried to do unsuccessfully for 2 years, and she's here every week. And when they did that, and then they realized and found out who she really was, they embraced her, loved her, and so that's how it kind of grew from there. And like I said, she wasn't a huge donor to the church, but she was a giver, and she brought those kids to where they needed to be.
Which is the most important.
Yeah, it was. It truly was. So, like I said, and she'd give what she had if they needed it, and they were always there, for her. So, so those are the same type kids that we help. We don't care what they look like. Okay, everybody, can have a story, and we don't care what your story is. If you're in need, then we're there to help. So we do backpacks for kids in need to enhance education, tools for schools to give them an opportunity for success. And then we created a kids closet, so we clothe them as well. And now we do one program started out years ago is now 7 programs.
Yep,
today.
that's what I was about to say. I was going to ask you next, what are all those programs? Because I remember it was kind of more one, and then you're like, okay, let's, just felt the need just to help more and more people.
So, and how that came about is we implemented programs based upon identifying unmet needs in the community by being out there. And that's how one program actually grew into another program, into another. So I'm always like, be careful for what you ask for.
Right?
Yeah, I'm thinking I should be drinking more wine.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so anyway, but I have a great board of directors and an amazing group of volunteers and who are our spine and strength and light. And without them, we wouldn't be able to maintain the growth and or maintain operations.
Yeah. And you always say that. I always say, you started it, you do, and you always stop me and just say, no, I have a support system. I have the right people in the right places to do what we do. It's not about me, it's about them. And
100%. I mean, it'd be ludicrous and selfish of me to sit here and take all the praise and glory when in fact, it's all of those people. I mean, the fact that they share our mission, and embrace it with us with as much passion as we do is just, it's amazing. I mean, that doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't. And it's the same thing in my business. And my dad has taught me everything is about people.
100%.
Everything's about people. So if you don't have the right people in the right place, cultivating them the right way,
Correct.
Nothing else is going to work.
No.
You got to have good people. You got to take care of your people. They're people. They're not robots. They're not, you know what I mean? So a lot of businesses lose that kind of that family atmosphere and they don't, some people say don't use that family word, but I don't care. I mean, these are family members to me. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, they become the family that you choose. So
Yep.
yeah, so like that old cliche family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's who we have, and we love it.
Yep.
But like you said, truth in your words, and that people don't stay if they're not happy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one thing is, even though, like, when we were just creating a co-partnership, I'd ask questions about your business as well,
Mm-hmm.
because I want to make
Yep.
sure I'm doing, good work with somebody that's got some integrity. And, when I find out your employees are here, you know, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11 years, I'm like, people don't stay if they're not happy.
Yeah.
So, and that spoke, just pillars for me. So I'm like, oh, okay, we're doing good.
Yeah, we had people. John, he still comes in my as general manager or old general manager. He's kind of like semi-retired now, but he's been with us for 50 years or so. Jan, who was the first journey woman plumber in Florida, she was with
Oh.
us for over 30 years. Just absolute. I trained with her. Just an amazing person. So we're just lucky that we've attracted the right people
Right.
that have done such a good job for us.
Yeah,
You know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah.
We're blessed. I can't say any other word than that. We're just blessed to have really good people that work for us.
Yeah, which is important.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very, very
make or
important.
break you.
Mhm.
So, no, I agree with that 100%.
Mhm.
You see that.
Yeah.
So,
So let's talk more about Marjorie's Hope. So what are the 7 fundraisers that you guys do?
so 7 programs.
Programs. Yeah.
So it started out with backpacks.
Yes.
We started out with 35 backpacks.
Yep.
2 nursing friends in my living room. With a bottle of wine. That's why I referenced the wine. I'm like, we're probably have to do a couple of cases now, but nonetheless, should have drank more.
Yep.
So it was never. I didn't really have a vision back then. We were unknown, unnamed, and it was just
Yep.
me donating. It was
Mhm.
35.
Yeah.
And then the next year, I don't know, I think it went like to 60, 65, and then it went to like 99. This is out of my personal pocket.
Yep.
And then when it got to 99, I'm like, yeah.
We gotta do
Ching,
something.
ching,
Yeah.
ching. Okay. It's like, so I got to figure something out. So then I created a fundraiser. So 54 of my closest friends, family, and patients, because I operated a clinic. So someone came from my clinic. And so we did a bunko for backpacks at a friend's house out there off Moon Lake Road. They have like 25
I
acres.
remember. Yep.
Yeah, they live back in
Mhm.
there. Beautiful home. And so we had 54 friends, family, and we made $1,200. And I'm like,
Mhm.
woo, 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 woo. So, because I'm like, now look how much more I can buy. And that was back when you could still shop at Staples and Office Depot and like 50-cent erasers
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah, so now we're coming with 18-wheelers on
Yeah.
pallets. But back then, $1,200 went a long way.
Mhm.
So jump for joy. And so I think we did like 171,
Mhm.
and it just kept going. And then it's like, listen, I obviously need to do a like nonprofit establishment here, and I can do more. And so that's what we did. So I had some friends, and so I surrounded myself with like, okay, I need a lawyer, I need an accountant,
Mhm.
I need people that can do things that I can't do to get me going. So when I approached them and said, can I, just ask for a year commitment to get me out going and off the ground? And I said, then, if you want to sign off, I'm all good, but I just need help. So they did. And some stayed longer. And so that's where we started. So now we do those 35 backpacks are now 5,500 backpacks
Yep.
a year, which is $100,000 day for us now,
Mhm.
which is still a great deal because I think it comes to about a little over $18 a backpack, and they're good quality backpacks. It's not something we found out in the earlier years buying the cheaper ones, and when those little ones drag them all the way home, they're ripped apart before they get to the house. So we pay for good quality. So then that went to a kids closet. Oftentimes we're outfitting the same kids we're providing tools for schools for. Then we went and opened a teacher's boutique where we provide new and gently used high-end clothing to our educators, which then extended to all school board employees. Then we opened up a school store where teachers can come shop free of charge, and that sort. Then we did a $2,000. We do a $2,000 annual scholarship to a Pasco County student. It's based on their volunteer hours, not so much their GPAs. We
Good.
do laptops for started out for high school. Or it started out for kids graduating from high school, going off to college, mainly foster kids. And now this last couple of years, we just did for high school as well because it was the need was so great. And then we do Cinderella Project.
Yeah, that one
Okay,
just happened. Yeah.
that just happened
Mhm.
where we took that on 3 years ago, and what started out with maybe two pickup trucks and some rolling racks is now 2.5 trips of 27-foot trucks and 10 men, because the inventory is unbelievable, but it's magnificent. And then I take that back. We got eighth program, and then we do Christmas for kids.
Mhm.
So which you all
Mhm.
jump in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Kielty's with several of our projects and overlap. But this year we did oh my God, what did we do? 400, I think, bicycles we did for
Oh yeah, that's
kids.
right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did. I mean, we had never had
Yeah.
so many. And then I think we did a little over 248 kids for Christmas. So, and all we do is we match from the school's referral donors, businesses or private donors with families in need, and then we match and then we back out.
Yep.
And it works out. Our donors and businesses are always exceptionally kind to our families. So
Yeah, you're so lucky that you have really good connections with the schools,
I do.
and then you help their teachers, and then you can find the kids in need
Correct.
through that. So
Yeah.
it's circle of life,
Yeah,
pretty much.
it is. So one of the things with the schools, so everybody in any of our programs who receives services has to be referred,
Hmm.
whether it be case manager, probation, sheriffs, school administrator, somebody in that realm who knows the personal story of the families or children in need. And the reason being is because in the earlier years, we kind of got swindled.
Yeah,
Some
I was
people,
going to ask you that. Yeah, people who really didn't need it were taking advantage of it.
yeah, some people can tell a better story than others,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, okay, sure. And
Yeah.
and then we see our backpacks for sale on Facebook Marketplace,
Hmm.
and it's like, I want to kind of like throat punch somebody.
I know. I saw something on Facebook that you guys just did the Cinderella project and
Yeah.
just put your soul into this stuff to help kids, for problem stuff like that. And the person was like, I can't find everything. And then somebody was mad that you guys 2 weeks after you're already done, and I just almost wanted to jump that up too. I'm like, they just do so much, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to take some self-responsibility too, a little bit as a person, you know what I mean? And some
And-
people don't. And that stuff bugs me because I just know how much you guys do.
So thank you for that, because my board members usually when they see that are like, Deb, I'll respond. You did never mind. Okay,
Yeah.
no, just leave it alone. And I'm like the same thing. It's like, so okay, your emergency shouldn't become my emergency.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
number one.
Yeah,
Okay,
correct.
and number two, because we were open. Where were you for 6 weeks? We posted every single day.
Mhm.
And now, how is it that you found us now, but you couldn't find us 6 weeks ago? So I'm sorry, but because we do good work, and I don't want to take away from my volunteers. They bust their rear ends, okay, to make sure these kids get what they need, and
To
for
help,
somebody,
to
yeah,
help the community.
yeah, 100%. So
Ugh.
for one person to then not be very nice because again they have an emergency, they waited to the weekend of their prom.
Correct.
Okay, that's not our fault, but
No.
and so yeah, I try to be Switzerland.
Yeah.
Oh, I try.
Oh, me too. You know how I am. I just try not to. But when people attack either my family, business, or people I know dear and love,
Yeah.
for everything you guys do, like I had to really hold myself back because I'm like thinking to myself, like, how could somebody even post something like that? Like all the
Correct.
good you've done, and they try to focus on one thing that
Yeah,
you guys were doing such good for 6 weeks, like you said, and
correct. So yeah, and I know that post specifically, and and I was
Yeah.
calm
Yeah.
myself down,
Yeah.
and say, this is unfair of you when you don't know
Yep.
the whole story.
Yep.
Okay, we had a contracted time for the mall. We had to
Mhm.
be closed, and it takes us a week to wrap everything up, to get prepared for transport. So, but you didn't even give us an opportunity, or nor did you reach out and ask why. You just kind of wanted to trash us from one perspective, and I can't have that.
No.
So I gave the full transparency, and I think it kind of cooled her jets a little
Great
bit.
post. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a checkmate.
Yeah, thank you, yeah. So, but yeah, I have to laugh. I said because they shoot from the hip, and my board's like, Deb, hold up, Deb, hold up,
Mhm.
because I'm like, I just want to tear it apart. But
Because you just put so much into it, not for yourself, for other people, and that
correct.
bugs me too. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
People
that.
want more or something, and it's just like,
Yeah, exactly. So, like I said, and we.
I love the volunteers. Why don't you help next year?
Oh well, I think I did mention that.
Instead of people going to complain, well, why don't you volunteer your time? You have these people, like you said, that volunteer their time to help high school students. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Correct. So,
Have that special moment, prom that, they wouldn't have been able to really, or maybe they're embarrassed. They would have been embarrassed or whatnot, and not gone.
mhm.
And then their whole life, they maybe wish they could have gone.
It's one of my favorite programs that we actually operate because it truly is a Cinderella moment when you
Mhm.
see these kids. And the space that we have at Gulfview Mall was actually a bridal salon.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, so that has the risers, it has the big
Oh,
three-way
it does?
mirrors. Yeah, it's the perfect location for what we do. So and then when you see those students, a lot of times this is their very first formal, okay, that they've ever
Mhm.
dressed for. I mean, I love it when the guys come in because I'm like, okay, so we're the fairy godmothers,
Yeah.
helping pick out. And I'm like, okay, so what size are you, honey? And he's like, 36. I'm like, okay, so we get him, and then they go to the dressing room, and he comes out, and I'm like, I don't want to be fresh. So like on the hip side, I'm like, oh, honey, you are clearly a 38.
Yeah.
Just want to put that out there. But you do want to eat and drink that night, right? Okay.
You don't want to be.
We'll have the let's move up a little 38. See how we do. Give you a little room.
They're just, well, honestly, a lot of those kids are just thankful for anything, I'm sure. So
They
they
are.
don't want to be like a burden.
No, correct.
You know what I
So,
mean? And
yeah.
you're the right personality and your team to say like, hey, no, we need to do this right.
Two of my volunteers actually worked and or owned bridals shops for years, so they got those boys looking like $1 million in no
Mhm.
time, or the girls and all that. So, but one of my favorite stories is so this high school kid comes in, and we have him dressed like he's like $1 million looking. So, because one of the Sarah Mallow, public defender for Pinellas and Pasco, she also donates suits out of their closet for their client closet down in Clearwater, and a lot of the private attorneys donate. Now, I now understand why we spend so much money on our lawyer fees, because what they pay for these beautiful suits and or
Yeah.
these shoes from Italy that have never hit of asphalt yet. Nonetheless, thank you for your kindness.
Mhm.
And so these boys so this one boy came in, and it seemed like he got everything out of the client closet, so to speak. And so he went to pay us with us, and he's like, "How much do I owe you, ladies?" I'm like, no. I said, "No, you don't owe us it." And he's like, "No, clearly I owe you something." I said, "No, it's free. It's Cinderella Project. That's what we do. We got it all. Whoops, in the black, bag, and like he's just coming out of Dillard's,
Yeah.
Men's
Uh-huh.
Warehouse, whatever." And he's like, "Can I have one of you ladies' business cards? Because when I get home, my mom is gonna think I stole this stuff." Like, oh my God. No, just ever call the school
Yeah.
and just ask about Cinderella Project, and you'll be fine. So apparently everything worked out, but he came back and for the next year. And so I'm like, oh, did you bring your suit back? Because we ask him to bring it
Yeah.
back, but we don't require it, and most
Yeah.
of them don't,
Yeah.
which is fine. And so we laughed with him. He's like, no, I didn't bring that back. He said, I'm saying I'm going to get married in that suit. Like, oh, okay. Well, it was really a great suit nonetheless, but
That's awesome.
we loved it. We're like, we love kids like you,
Yeah.
students like you. This is great. So,
That little moment in their life could just change their trajectory. You
yeah,
know what
for
I mean?
sure. Well,
From
not only,
going the wrong side to going the right side,
yeah, because somebody cared.
Yeah.
Somebody
They
supported you.
see in this world there's kind people that want to help, you know what I mean?
Correct.
Not just the stuff they see on social media and everything nowadays where everything's doom and gloom.
So that's the one thing that I proud that we've remained steadfast with is like our backpacks. Okay. So lots of businesses, because of the volume of what we do, have reached out over the years, even offering to pay us if they could put literature in our backpacks and all of that. And it's like, absolutely not.
No, that's not what it's about.
No, it's not what it's about. Okay. And B, it's like when students receive our backpacks, there's no branding, there's no Marjorie's Hope Kids. It's nothing. I mean, it's just generic, but that when they open that backpack, not only is there everything that they need, plus there's usually personal hygiene products.
That's what I was gonna say, personal hygiene.
Yeah, there's lots of that
People
too.
forget that. Yeah.
100%. But it's like we just want to send the silent message, okay? Hey, somebody cared. Okay. And they may not get it there, but that'll be a lifelong memory, them getting that nice looking backpack, and that sort, and then all the contents. The other thing is we take pride in the type of backpacks because when you're in middle and high school, A, a lot of times now they're not allowed to use lockers.
Yeah.
Okay. And B, so that backpack becomes their brand on that, carrying that on their back all day. So we want to make sure that they're well represented and that they're proud of the backpacks that they receive.
Yeah.
So that's why we put a lot of extra time into what we purchase and not just anything or cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So
No, I remember you told me that years and years ago. I was like, hey, this isn't just like a cheap thing that, you know what I mean? We want something that's gonna last, something that's gonna make impression, somebody that they can feel proud of, not have self-esteem issues. You got this junky backpack. So,
yeah, sure. Like I said, because it becomes who they are,
Mhm.
and then you want to make sure that you have it, the contents that are, required for school, everything it's needed. Because if you don't have your tools for schools and everything you need, you're immediately targeted. Okay, whether because you don't have what you need, or it's not the right type, or it's not bougie enough, what have you. Okay, and then it's like you may already be targeted, but even more so. So it's like, and how much self confidence is there going to be when you don't have what you need to succeed, and then
Correct.
or you don't have the personal hygiene. Most people don't realize how many kids go to school in this county, okay, and that they go to school to take showers. So whether they're homeless, or living in tent cities, they're couch hopping, living with a family caregiver, and they just can't afford, because you can't buy any of that stuff on food stamps.
No.
So that's why we provide for them, and we give it out till it's gone.
Yeah.
So we don't have enough for 5,000. So we'd always make sure, like the homeless, the backpacks that go on the homeless kids, they're the first ones that get filled. And so my board knows, and I love how they support me. Those are the first backpacks that get filled. They're always the brand name, the highest quality, and all of the large bottles of personal hygiene, shampoo, body soap versus the motel hotel size. And then those they're in Ziploc bags, and then they stay at the nurse's station. And if they need more, then the school calls, and then the school district is amazing. They allow us to courier it over at no charge. And we have the student's name on it. And then when they come and take a shower, they just give them the Ziploc bag, and they're done.
Oh my God,
Yeah, it's amazing.
that's amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. So we
Amazing and sad that
Yeah.
there's kids. You know what I mean? Adults sometimes is their choice, but it's kids, having to
Yeah.
want to, A, you got to go to school just to learn and everything else, and then B, more importantly, you're just worried about the essentials.
So
Stuff.
case in point, like implementing programs based on unmet needs. So it was a few years ago. We found out that in Pasco County, if you had not paid your graduation fees, why then you don't walk, Okay. You don't go to senior class breakfast and you don't do the senior class
gosh.
extravaganza. Okay. And I'm like, how is this possible? Our type kids struggle every single day just to get to school, sometimes through transportation, nonetheless try to make it, and through no fault of their own financially, can't afford. And at that time it was like 95 to, I think it was $105 for graduation fees that they couldn't walk. Like, no. So when we found that out, then I called some other schools, and it was pretty rampant. So we called every high school in Pasco County, so there was 95 students that needed, we guaranteed their fees. I didn't have the money.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I did not
We'll
have the
figure
money.
it out.
We'll figure it out, 100%. And then I said, and then we'll start calling or we're posting. And so we guaranteed those rates for the kids, the fees. And so then, because of our relationship with district, and they're like, I don't think there's an error there, and I'm like, I don't think so. So they came back and said, you know what? Never understood it. Didn't realize, but this won't happen anymore. So now I believe it's the Pasco Education Foundation that they picked up those fees for kids in need.
You started that. Love
Yeah,
that.
we did. So, and my
I love
board
that.
was like, so man, like, what do you do? I'm like, they got so much more money than we do. Let them have it.
Let 'em have it.
We're good. Next.
Yeah. Let them do it.
Yeah, but the fact that we were able
You
to
started it,
identify
yeah.
and bring it to the forefront and awareness. Okay, but all the other kids now, they're taken care of. They're good. So yeah. So, but like one of the things, like for Cinderella Project, I mean, it's like when you think about the cost. I mean, these kids' tickets were anywhere from like $95 to $150 a ticket. Okay, and then it's like and then if they want like the flowers, and they want to go to dinner, and they want the limo, because they all want that. And then that's before they come to us. Now, this year, what we did is, because we were in the mall and we had to incur rental fees, so we did ask for a $10 donation,
Yeah.
but we didn't turn anybody away either.
Yeah.
So if they couldn't afford it, and then we had some people, that sponsored. So like J&H Consignment here in downtown, she wrote me a check for $100. She's I'll sponsor 10 kids.
Yep.
Like, okay, good deal. So we're like, thank you so much for that. So when you think about all the costs for these kids, it's just crazy. But anyway, but they one of the things, our hopes, wishes, and dreams for them is to have, like, next year, maybe like gift cards to Carrabba's or Olive Garden, because they all want to go out to dinner like all their friends, and then everybody's referred by the school, so we know who's in need, and then give them a card. But like we had like Patrick Benet for Benet's hair, he gave me, he printed out coupons and a business card to give to the students to get their free haircuts or free updos for the girls. And so it's amazing how the community comes together for all that.
I've said this, I don't know how many times, but Pasco County, to me, I don't know. I just feel like we do more.
We do.
We just do more. You know what I mean? And we have amazing individuals in this community that just want to help and don't want anything in return, and just want to help the community. And to me, I mean, we're lucky. We really,
lucky.
I don't know how it is other, counties and stuff like that, but I just feel like Pasco County just really does a great job.
So I used to say that I thought we were one of the best, hidden secrets, that there ever is. But the developers clearly found us.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah, they found us.
Yeah, we're not a secret.
Yeah, we're definitely
anymore.
not a secret.
No, we're no longer a secret. So nonetheless, but no, you're right. I mean, there's a lot of people doing good things in this community. And one of my philosophies, I just had this conversation yesterday with somebody. So because there's so much going on, and there's so many other not-for-profits in the community, and everybody trying to support each other, that it's my typical is that I will reach out to businesses in the community one time a year. Okay. So because I always want to know that when I call, I know they're going to answer the phone.
Yeah.
they're not going to dread, oh, it's Deb. I know she's calling. She wants more money. That's all she ever calls for. So because so many other people are calling and reaching out, and I, respect that it's like one time. So they know when I'm calling because I need.
Need something.
Yeah. And I'll tell you straight out what I want, what I need, whatever. And if you can help, that's wonderful. But, and I think that's probably why, people do answer my phone. So, and or they follow us on our posts and they see, and then now if they reach out in regards to a post, that's like that's up for grabs. Okay, that's separate.
Yep.
So in regards to that, but no, we're very lucky. A lot of good things happening in this community for sure.
I think they know with you, and there's a few different nonprofits in our area, but especially you, that the money's going to go to a good place. They don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and I'm the type of person that I want my money to go local. I want my money to touch people in need in our community, because our community has helped us for so many years. So like that is important to me. And I think other businesses see that as well. Like, hey, let's help our local community. The big nonprofits, a lot of times, a lot of the money doesn't go directly to the people who need it or whatever. And we know people in our community are directly going to be helped.
Correct. Yeah. So one of the avenues I think the reason why Marjorie's Hope does pretty well is because we do ask our donors, whether private businesses and that, to come see what it is that we do and where we put your money. Okay. Not necessarily come and work, although a lot of people will just roll up their sleeves and join in, and that's great. But like, especially like backpacks, So, and I don't care if you gave me $50, $500, $5,000. On that day, it all is equally important when you see on the table everything that it brought together to buy.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it used to be staples and walk in the door, and now it's an 18-wheeler coming in on pallets. Okay. So, and it's just, but yeah, it's important. But people appreciate that because a lot of times that I've heard feedback, and exactly what you just said is that I gave to X, a nonprofit, large named, for years, and I don't know if they ever got it. Were they thankful for it? Okay, because they didn't even acknowledge me, and it's like, yeah, I want to know that my money's going local and staying local.
Yeah.
So, and I remember those conversations, and that's why I'm like, I want you to not only, appreciate and verbalize, but I want you to come see. So you clearly know where your money went and how important it was to us for that event. So, and I wish more people would do that, because I think it takes you a lot of miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, when people can see it. And it helps build trust. Like you said, people know, and that's one thing that I take a lot of pride in with Marjorie's Hope is that they know that their money is truly going, into the trench, for those truly in need. So we appreciate all those trusts and relationships built.
Yeah, when we really started giving like 15 or so years ago, we kind of got pulled into a lot of those national people and stuff like that. And we were doing a lot of donations or trucks and stuff like that. We're wrapped in that. And then we took a couple years and I kind of stepped back. I'm like, we'd always help local too, but we're like, hey, no, this is about the people that support us. This is about helping the people in need in our community. You know what I mean? So let's boom. You know what I mean? I'm like, let's do everything local and wrap our trucks locals. If we could help any of our, nonprofits and stuff like that. I mean, to me, that's what matters. And again, you're just directly touching those people.
So we're honored and we love the fact that we got a truck wrapped.
I love that truck too. Yeah.
We do too. I love it. And for more
you get to bring in the parades. And
yeah, I love it. Yeah, being part of the parades as well. But we love it when people do, hey, Deb, I saw your Marjorie's Hope truck, Kielty truck recently. I'm like, oh, yeah, you make sure you honk or wave or whatever, So, yeah, so we're honored to have been, a part of that as well, for sure.
Yeah, I think Eli drives your truck, but I know your favorite is Steve.
Oh, Steve. Oh, my God. How can you not love Steve?
I love Steve. I should have had Steve on.
Yeah, you should.
I should have had Steve on. He loves you. I'm not kidding, almost like once a week he says something. oh, how's Debbie doing? And we need to, you know.
Yeah, for sure. So we were at Port Richey Ford, and they
Mm-hmm.
were doing a live remote and it was a fundraiser for Marjorie's Hope. And so I saw the RJ Kielty truck circle in the parking lot at Port Richey, which is very tight.
Yep.
Okay. And so he was looking for a parking spot, and then he came over, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I heard you on the radio, and I got to come give a donation." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, how can you not love that
No.
man?" You know? So anyway, so then I put him on the radio.
Did you? You don't care. He'll do it.
Yeah, I know he will. That's all. So yeah, he's like amazing. So, and I first met him when we were doing a garage sale fundraiser with Starkey Ranch
Mhm.
families, and you sent him with this truck, and he and I sat out in the parking lot all day, and it was like we were just like conquered all the world's problems, and it was a couple of hours, so you get to know somebody at that time, and it was like just instant love for that guy, you know.
Mhm.
So yeah, I always tell my husband when we're talking about RJ Kilty's staff, and he's like, "Which one?" I said, "Steve, you know, the long-haired hippie dude." He's like, "Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about."
Steve maybe listen to this, but we always just call him Goldilocks.
That's great. So, 'cause my husband's got a long-haired ponytail too, you know. So he's like, "Oh yeah. Oh, Goldilocks is perfect." I'm so glad you said that.
Sorry, Steve.
Yeah, we still love you, Steve.
Yeah.
We love you, baby. We love you. Yeah, he's good people. So, but then I'm talking about like when you have people like that that represent you,
Yeah.
you know. So, like you all donated last year a water softener or whatever, and we auctioned it off at the Celebrity Waiter. And that lady said, Kathy was her name, who won the bid. She's like, that guy that came to install, he was the nicest guy, and we had more fun with him. My husband and I said, who was? She's like, "Steve," long haired hippie dude. She's like, yeah. I said, oh man, you're the best guy in the whole business. So.
He requested. He's like, no, I want to do it.
For
He's like, I'll donate our time. I was like, no, Steve, we got you. Just, you know.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, it was a good deal for that. So yeah, but I just wanted to share too. Our great news is we so yeah, this is the first time I'm publicly letting this information out. So we were able to negotiate an agreeable contract with Gulfview Square Mall, so that we could keep the Cinderella project there on site and not have to move it again.
Yeah.
So we have to pay a larger amount of rent. Like I told them, I'm like, listen, we're not Dillards. Okay?
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so we did 6 months with the opportunity to re-sign for a second 6 months. So we're going to be, you'll start seeing our posts that we decided, because we did this without a proposed budget.
Yeah.
It wasn't in the plan, but because it worked so well in those weeks. So we're going to start reaching out. And we just thought, if we can get like 12 businesses to sponsor us $1,200
Just do it for the month. Yeah.
Yeah, and it pays for our rent, our electric, our water, garbage, water, sewer, and our Wi-Fi. $1,200 a month, and asking like local businesses if they would sponsor that, then that would keep us on the spot.
Yeah.
So anyway,
well, we're in for at least 1 month. So
yeah,
any other businesses, step it up. You know what I mean? Step it
100%.
up.
Yeah, especially when you
Going to such a great, cause.
Right, correct. So, and they can start now and pay monthly, towards, like if you want to take December and it takes you 12 months and pay $100 a month, you can do that, and that sort. So we signed a lease and committed, like again, like, man, you're crazy.
You always figure it out.
But we do. Not only do we figure it out, but so we are so abundantly blessed. Anytime I post anything, Tanner, it's like within, the 24 hours, it's on my front porch. It's like sometimes I got to wake up and I got to get a shovel just to get out the front door.
Yeah, right.
Okay. And my husband's like, what? What are you doing now? Okay.
I love it.
So it's like, he's used to it now. I'm like, honey, it'll be all right. So, but yeah, it's just, we're blessed with that. So I'm hoping that the, businesses will embrace us in that program, because it does so much good, and that sort. It just makes it easier having to move it in and out of storage and two 27-foot trucks. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot,
Mm-hmm. It's a lot.
Listen, when my mom was 65 years old, she was not doing the work I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can clearly tell you that right now.
That's when you always call. You're like, hey, I need somebody. I'm like, I'll send Tom
Yeah,
with the box truck.
listen, you all are so good about doing that. So I'll go into Walmart and I'll see clearance backpacks and there might be at $7 and I'm like, listen, if you can get them all to $4, I'll buy the whole store.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, the whole store? I'm like, the whole store.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, oh, okay. I'm like, Tanner, I need trucks. And you send Tom for sure, or bikes. I need bikes picked up. You send Tom. So, we appreciate Tom so much. But no,
he loves doing that stuff too.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah.
I can tell.
He's always at all of our events.
Yeah. Christmas, he picked up a huge toy collection right down in Pinellas County.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm like, whoa, okay. So, no, we just appreciate you all. You listen, you need to hang out with my husband more often because you don't ever say no to me and he's got no problems.
I can't say no to helping people. I don't know.
You
It's
never
hard.
say no. And my husband's like, you're going to call Tanner again? I'm like, no, he responded.
Yep.
I posted. So it's like, because he knows my theory. So I said, but you're always there. I just appreciate it so much. And
no,
your
we
family.
do a small part compared to what you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I'm just an organizer. Like I said, it's all my people that I'm so blessed. Board of directors, volunteers, and without them, they're the movers and shakers, truly. So they just make me look good. So, but I always say, when you give from the heart, your soul will sing.
Yeah.
And it just feels good no matter what.
That.
So, and it does. My soul sings after every project, let me tell you. So, if it's not that, I always think that great things happen to us. And I talk to my sister a lot.
I was about to say, I know your sister I don't know how she could be prouder.
Oh,
She,
I know she would love this, and she does. And, when I'm needing something, I'm like, girl, if you want it to happen, you better show me the way because I don't know what, So, and it's like, it's a joke at the board because it's like, Debbie, I don't know how close I want to get to you, girl, okay? Because, like, some weird stuff happened to you. And, a case in point is, like, we needed, like, $5,000 one time. It's like we were short. I think it was backpacks. And, then all of a sudden, out of the blue, not expecting, we get a check in the mail, $5,011.21. One of my women was like, Debbie, that's a little too close for comfort. You make me a little nervous standing next to you. And I'm like, well, it just, it's meant to be, for whatever reason. So, we're always blessed. Good things happen, or we posted and it happens, So,
So what are some of the fundraising efforts that you guys do like throughout the year?
So my favorite one and the most prosperous for us is our celebrity waiter. That's coming up. It'll be our 5th year that we're doing it. And we have 28 waiters this year.
Wow.
Yeah, so we outgrew our previous site, and now we're at St. George's Greek Church, the hall, which is a beautiful facility.
Yes.
And Christos is catering.
Yeah,
Everybody
I
loves
love Eric,
Christos.
Theo, and those guys. Yeah.
So
they always step up too.
They do 100%. So so we didn't have to pay previously, but that's changed, and it's like that's okay. So and we have to pay for the hall rental and the lunches and all that stuff. But Christos gives so much back into this community that they did give us a little bit of a discount. So, but I'm just glad to be able to give back to them at a large crowd. So, so it's about 290. It'll probably be about 300 lunches for the day, So, so we're glad to give back to a mom and pop because again, they and other ones never say no to us. And I don't think to anybody else in this county, quite honestly. So, so we're excited about that. So that's coming up on May 16th, 11:30.
My birthday.
That's your birthday?
Yeah, my birthday.
Oh, it's so good to know. I love that.
We're getting Erica out this time.
Yeah.
So
Well, and that's one thing. So we did something different this year, and I didn't realize how popular it was going to be.
Mhm.
Is instead of just the celebrity waiters, so I invited some couples, you
Mhm.
and Erica being one
Mhm.
of them. And so any couple that I reached out to, nobody said no.
Yep.
So I'm like, oh, okay. And they were very excited about it. So I'm like, oh, well, I think there may be something we'll just keep up. So, because we try to add like little twists every time
Mhm.
or do something different than others. So that was clearly one. So it's 29 tables, but that doesn't, I don't even know if it's like 38 of you total because with the
Mhm.
couples and that. So anyway, so we do that. We do an annual bunko for backpacks. So that
Mhm.
bunko that I started
Yep.
12 years ago, for $1,200. Now we make about $15,000. So, and again, we reach out. Most of our money is really from sponsorships from local
Mhm.
businesses and helping us out. But again, that's the only program that we fundraise that 100% of the money goes to backpacks,
Yep.
because that was our first route in starting
Mhm.
all of this. And now, like I said, it's $100,000 day, so we
Yeah.
got to push
Yeah.
heavy for that money. But it's fun. It's a fun night. It's a mindless game of throwing some dice. If you know how to play Yahtzee, you can play Bunko,
Yeah.
pretty much. But we have some great gift baskets and donations and that sort. So, and that's coming up. I must have been crazy. 2 fundraisers in the same week. So that's May 11th,
Mhm.
Saturday, just before Mother's Day. And then again, that's local. That's at Beacon Square Civic Center coming up. And I think we're going to do a fall fashion show as well, out at in Lutz. So it's like mid county.
That would be
Yeah,
pretty cool.
I
Yeah.
think it would be fun. So it'll be
Mhm.
something new, especially with all like the donations that we have, like either from like the boutique.
Mhm.
So a Bella Story, which is a
Mhm.
kind of a high end bougie boutique out there on 54, they're very, very good to us.
Mhm.
And the last donation of new clothing was $64,000.
Oof.
Yeah. So, and I checked with them and said, hey, could we, sell some of your clothes at a fashion show since they, quote, donated? And not only did they say yes, but they, hey, can we be involved? I'm like, we would love for you to be
Yeah.
involved. Yes, of course. So, anyway, so we need to, after I get through with these 2 fundraisers, we're going to talk about a fall fashion show with them. And then just had some gentlemen from the fraternity house up there on
Mhm.
54.
Mhm.
They just reached out and they want to host a fundraiser for us. So we have an appointment next week. Let's see what they got to say.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, okay, that's great for us. So, like usually we're reaching out
Yeah.
to others, so for them to
That's
be reaching,
nice.
this is great. So yeah, for sure. So again, just love it that other people know about us. And I always say, it's like, how did you find out about us? I'm like, we love it when people are talking about us.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good.
Mhm.
So that's pretty much where we're at. And as far as fundraising, we're trying to shift to more grants because
Mhm.
we're at that point where we just don't have the time to do all the fundraising. So
Yes.
to do a successful fundraiser, it takes 3 to 6 months preparation.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, to get it all done and correct. And I don't leave anything to
Yep.
the last minute. In fact, that frustrates the heck out of me. So anyway, so we just want to get it, done in ample time. But nonetheless, but it takes a lot. And when
Mhm.
you're trying to run programs and then do fundraisers, it's a lot of work.
Mhm.
So now you got to look at some grants.
Yeah.
So I'm looking to try to take some courses. I did look at one, but I'm like $2,200. I'm like, they were nonprofit. It's like no, no,
2,200 to apply for it or
to
something?
to
Take
take
the
the
course.
course. Yeah, so it was a college level course,
Yeah.
but still, I'm like, that's just out of our wheelhouse. Okay,
Mhm.
so we'll keep looking. So
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
yeah, we'll keep looking for that. So it's like, okay. So in the meantime, I'll just sell my soul and
Yep.
piece by piece, whatever I need. I mean, there's enough of me to sell, so we're
Yeah.
good.
There we go.
Yeah, yeah. So we just get chunks here and there.
So I know we're
Anyway,
getting probably a little close to time.
okay.
But We got as much time as we want.
Oh, nice.
I have two questions. So first, what were some of the hurdles that you had to, or bad news, or whatever, in Marjorie's Hope, where you're like, gosh, I know you don't have quit in you, so I know that's kind of maybe a tough question for you, but you know what I mean. What are some of the hurdles that you had? You're like, oh man, maybe this.
So that's so funny you asked that question because my husband will tell you, and those that know me well know that no is not in my vocabulary. No means to me next.
Yeah.
Okay, so in regards to that, but there were hurdles, and one of the thing I realized in the very beginning, because I didn't know anything about starting a not for profit, okay, other than I needed to surround myself with a lawyer, a CPA, and then at that point, no family, because you don't do business with family, okay? So, but was trying to squeeze in this county with all the other nonprofits in the circle, okay, is a hurdle, okay? But I was, I guess, blessed to either become, make myself known or to have these wide hips. I didn't realize what a gift they were because I just squeeze and then push everybody over. Okay, I'm here.
I'm here.
That's it.
Take my picture.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like hello, and and then here's my story. Okay, and then just told my story to everybody. But and before it became a not for profit, when I received like a donation, or I gave a donation to like when Bob White was at the sheriff's department. Okay, so I would give all kinds of backpacks, and I also had asked in return, like, can you just send me a thank you note on letterhead? Okay, so that when I went to like the next place and looked for a donation, and then I put them in, the covered, the clear plastic, and I had a book. So those are the ones that I started showing because it added validity to what I was saying, and then trying to build trust and relationships and all of that sort. So that's what really helped me in the beginning before not for profit. Once it became a not for profit, there wasn't a person in this county it was safe for me calling.
Yep.
Okay, and now I'm legal. Now I'm a favorite. I'm coming for you like I did for you.
Yep.
So, and that was my approach to everybody is like, I have a story to tell because I have a mission. Okay, and I'm going to learn as I go, and I listen keenly to everybody, like successful business owners like yourself and others, and what did you do, whether you're a profit or not for profit.
Yeah.
And like those stories about donating and not knowing if it was acknowledged and where it went, and no thank you notes, and so it was like, how can I do better? Okay, because those are valuable conversations. So yeah, so those were probably my hurdles and my lessons at the same time. But I'm still learning, and I think any good business person, is constantly on a learning curve. So, like right
You
now,
have to.
I'm taking a course through Economic Developmental Council, co-starters, and that sort. And I was privileged and honored that Bill Cronin he selected 10 of us nonprofits in the county to be a part of this class. And so I'm like, the fact that you honored me by selecting me, what kind of person would I be to say no? Okay. And yes, I can always learn. So, and there's 10 of us in there. Some of us are just starting out. Some of us are like myself, 10 years in the making, and like Patty Templeton and that, she's in there with me. And so, but you can always learn.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So those are like, they were only small hurdles, temporary, like,
Yeah.
like, and like, listen, I come from a large family, and a lot of siblings, and
You got to stick out.
when you can't be seen, you got to be heard, okay?
I love it.
And I was the shortest one, okay? So, but they all knew when I was in the room,
correct.
okay? And they still do. So, kind of like the same philosophy. That was just kind of like ingrown into me. So, same thing. So, yeah, I let people know who I was, and kind of like, like a high school cheer, people want to know who you are, where you've been, like that. And, and then like the who, what, where, when, why. Like, give it all to them, whether they wanted to hear it or not. Like Don Anderson at Economic Council said to me in the group there, he's like, "Yeah, Debbie talks fast. Okay, gotta keep up with her because like you got a lot to say, and a lot of times you don't have a whole lot of time. So something in that conversation, that people will remember. But to be creative as well. So,
Yes.
like again, I was always learning. So I just went to a Economic Developmental Council Net Fest, and it's like, and I've been to them several years,
Yeah.
and it just dawned on me this year, the best place to go at a Net Fest is stand by the bar.
Yeah.
I have my business cards at the bar. That's it.
Oh,
There you go.
you're talking to a lot of the right people too.
I was,
Yeah.
because, a lot of new businesses. People had never heard of me before, so I got 2 local sponsorships out
Heck
of
yeah.
it. I did. I'm like,
That's awesome.
That's it. So I'm like, moral of the story: stay by the bar. Everybody drinks, even if it's soda, whatever. They all got to go to drink. So I'm gonna stand right there. Arlene's.
You need one at the bar, one at the bathroom.
Oh, good
Hey.
point. I need backup.
To pass
now.
here.
So, Arlene Brock.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love that girl. But anyway, she just shaking her head. Was like, Dad, I don't. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Look, I got 2 sponsorships. So
I love it.
yeah. So, the other thing is you just gotta have a good time. You have to have fun, and if it doesn't work, okay. So now we know, or can we improve? So
Be a genuine person. I mean,
you what?
for you to be a genuine person, for you, it just is natural. You don't have to act like somebody who you aren't. You know what I mean? And people could see that,
Yeah.
especially long term. You wouldn't be doing this long if you're, you know what I mean, not a genuine person. So.
I think I've proven myself. I like to think so anyway. I'm trustworthy. People know, like you said, they know where their money's going to go. They can trust me. And, I say it is what I say it is, so, and I'm appreciative for that because that takes a lot.
It does.
I remember with Pasco County Schools, in the earlier days, I couldn't get anybody to answer a phone call, none less an email, and now the trust is just amazing. And we have, keys to, certain schools where we have privileges to have free facilities, and we have courier service, and we're allowed to use, schools for, filling 5,500 backpacks and just so much more, anything I ask for, pretty much a district within reason, it's a yay. Because they know everything we do is for teachers and or children in need. And those are my sister's missions. So we just carry them on the same way, So I do think of other things, and my board like, calm down, Deb, calm down. We're good right
Let's not
now.
get too crazy.
Right? It's like, we haven't expanded the board, and everybody knows our board of directors, we're a working board. We have no paid staff. I don't take a salary, and nobody else either. And but they all know if they're asked to become a board member, it's a working position. So it's like, no, we're not here to build resumes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not who we are.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
anyway,
I love that.
Now if you do your work, then you can put us on your resume. Glad to have it there.
Yeah.
But otherwise, no. So anyway, long answer, short question.
Yep.
Yeah.
So probably gonna be my favorite question.
Okay.
What is the most heartfelt thing you've kind of seen, or you've touched somebody doing what you do? Like, what is that one story to you that sticks out? I'm sure you got a bunch, but
You're gonna make me cry. So there's several. Like the boy I talked about at Cinderella Project, just his mama thought he was gonna, thought he stole the stuff and that he was gonna wear it for his wedding. It just there's so many like happy moments and happy tears when you see those kids dressed for the first time, and mamas that are happy because they've never seen it. Or one of my favorite is we have a co-partnering agency, and they send us clients and that have been rescued from human trafficking. Okay, that's information we don't post for safety for ourselves, our board, as well as for the victims, because we know more than we should know in regards to traffickers and coyotes and stuff like that. But nonetheless, to have them, we open for private shopping for them to come into our boutique for whatever they need, whether it's to select clothing, to look for a job, and or if they've secured a job, we'll give them 7 days, and that's shoes, purse, jewelry, outfits, whatever. There's no limits. Or when you see a family come in that's just lost everything to a fire. Okay, we open that privately for them because we have the kids' closet, and then and the boutique. We say boutique, but we have men's clothing for men teachers and female. So it's and we've got personal hygiene and all of that. So when you have that type, accessibility, it's it's like you turn your back to go outside mainly to give them more privacy, but so they don't see your tears. It's just happy tears, emotional tears. Because we do a lot of things that we don't post on Facebook behind the scenes. But we try not to say no to anybody that reaches out with agency, whatever. It has someone or a family in need. I mean, one of our traffickers victims, young, and had a newborn. So we had two that we were helping there, and we allowed them to come back with permission from their case manager, so they know what's doing. But then that went into, then they got an apartment, and so we got drapes and bedding and bedding for the not bedding. But
like
a bed,
for the crib.
for the crib.
Yeah.
Thank you, for the newborn, and so, and again, sometimes we just post those and we don't give a whole lot of information for a reason. But we just had another one where a social worker reached out. They had a young boy that needed a bicycle, and it was his only mode of transportation. So there's a lot of stories like that. Christmas time is probably the most tears when you hear some of the stories.
That's all they got,
Yeah. So let me just add to that story. So again, because I shoot from the hip. So when we have a kid that we put out there, and somebody says, "Okay, I'll take the 6-year-old," and we send you that list, okay? 2 things, and I've publicly posted this too. Don't trash those kids for what they have on there. They might have an Xbox, and they want this. They just want what every other kid's asking for.
Yep.
Okay, so there's
They're little kids. What do you?
They're little ones. That's right. So there's nothing wrong. It gives me goosebumps when I even talk about this. So there's nothing wrong with that, but don't trash the child for it through no fault of their own. Okay, in regards to that. So I had another point that I was going to talk about in regards to that. I just passed it. Oh Lord, I hate that when it happens. Like, I'm 65 years old for you right there. So, but yeah, Christmas again is like probably the most precious time in doing that. And then I'm just gonna have to. All right, we'll have to move on because I forgot. It'll come to me if we move on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so again, another long answer, quick question.
Yeah.
So
No, that was my last answer. Just and I know you've seen so much, and I think portraying that to everybody else out here, you know what I mean, that they know if you can help somebody like you help in our community, you know what I mean, and help donate to you, whether it be your time, whether it be money, whether it be whatever. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure you need volunteers a lot too, right?
We do. We love volunteers. So whether it be high school. So the only time the high school kids cannot volunteer is like at the teacher's boutique.
Yeah.
In case and that's out
In
of
case they know
privacy.
somebody,
Yeah, for their own teacher in case they see their teacher shopping. So we don't want any teacher to be embarrassed by any means. So Anyway, I mean, because we all read the recent reports, Florida became the 50th state with the lowest salaries for our teachers in the United States. So no wonder that we are, having a
You have to
boutique for
have
them.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do have to have it. Plus, it shows value to our teachers. Like, you know what? We appreciate you. We recognize what you're doing and we thank you for it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, again. So, I mean, I keep referencing my age, but I'm 65. I can still tell you the name of my early educators, good and bad.
Yeah.
Okay, some of them, and some were the nuns.
Yep.
They would they would beat me. Okay, I have mother and sister Elizabeth. I can still got issues. That was gonna keep me out of the heavens above,
Right.
I'm sure. Yeah, that woman. So anyway, but case in point, we remember. Okay, so and I'm sure you do as well. So tell me that doesn't have value and impact in our life. So why don't we do more for our educators? Why do they treat them, the way they do?
They treat them so poorly and think that you're the babysitter, and why my kid
Yeah.
is like how he is because of the teacher, and it's at home. You
It-
have to reinforce. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're supposed to
I could
start
go
it
on
and
about
all.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you and me both.
Yeah.
So 100%. So again, like what we did or what we do for teachers is just to send again a silent message. We value, we adore you. Thank you for what you do. And that sort. So yeah, your last minute questions like, ooh, I mean that kind of scared me. That
Yeah.
extemporaneous speaking like that. Like, ooh, what's he gonna ask me? Didn't tell me those were coming. So.
No, but we just appreciate you guys so much. Everything you do for the community. Like you said, a lot of stuff that you do that 90% of the time you don't even tell people, you just do it. You know what I mean?
Just do it.
Yeah. And that's what I love about you. You don't some people do it for recognition. You guys don't. You do it to help. So,
well, we try.
Yeah.
We do the best that we can with what we
Yeah.
have. And it's mainly from those that support us. And we've just, again, I keep saying we've been blessed to have the support, the acknowledgement, and, we keep doing it. If we don't have it, then we let them know. But
Yeah.
I don't know that that's really happened yet. I mean, we have a lot of people that reach out to us, like, with furniture. So we don't have a thrift store or the space for it. But we'll post it, and then I'll tag who the donor is, and then so they can see, and then we put the recipient in them, so like we back out.
I like that.
Yeah. So again, it's like, okay. So again, it builds that trust factor as well that we have because they know we're truly genuine and who we're dealing with in that sort. But yeah, it's like we don't need to be involved in all the pettiness. Okay. It's just, what? Somebody had something they wanted to give, somebody needed, then we put them together and back it out. We're good. So again, and so we're just blessed with, I mean, like we reached out, we needed socks and underwear for our kids' closet. And James Morris, he came in, he's like a wrecking ball. I love him. I always tell his wife, Jess, I'm like, listen, make sure, like I tell you, make sure you let your wife know how much I love you today.
Yep.
Okay?
I do.
Yeah, okay.
I said, see?
Yeah. I'm not getting involved with
Yeah.
that. But, yeah, so, but he's the same way, and Jess is a sweetheart as well. But he was right there, meet me at Walmart, 1 o'clock, so go to Hudson Walmart, and that basket's just filled, and then he was doing for us, it was great. For every truly beneficial Google review that he got, and it had to be real, not a fake one, he would donate a pair of shoes for us. He's like, meet me at, so, and he had to have like so many, and we would meet him up at Hudson. We get like 10, 15 pairs of shoes. We're like, ooh,
let's go.
Thank you, James. So, yeah, he's just another, but it's like supporters like that, like, like RJ Kielty and, George Wholesale Tires. And, I mean, they never say no. The Rotary clubs are amazing.
Yes.
All of them and help us out. So, it's because of all of that. It's the reason why we're able to function. Without them, there's no Marjorie's Hope.
Yeah.
There isn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't do all that. I don't have that kind of money.
Yeah.
So, But with all of that, so we're really a community nonprofit. It's like says Marjorie's Hope, but it's really Pasco County community
Yeah.
because that's what we do for everybody.
Mhm.
So,
Well, I guess I'll let it stop there. I really appreciate you. I'd like to give you a hug.
of course, I love hugs. Of course. Thank you so much. Yeah, for sure. You're gonna have to bring Roy this year. He's just the age.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you guys watching. Kielty's Corner, episode 11. Another great one. Thank you again, Debbie. Marjorie's Hope.
You're welcome. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having us. Love it.
Yep.
Thanks.